Okay, it's 6:30. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Kylie.
Gilman,
Yes, here.
Horn,
Yes.
Lehman,
Here.
Underwood,
Here.
Gatham.
Here. The next item is approval of the agenda, but I would like to propose a change. Michelle is here to present on item E, which is wage study. I would like to move item E to item A so that Michelle can do a presentation and head home, because I believe she has some family engagements this evening. So I would like to
I'd make the motion. We approve the agenda with the item E being moved to item A and the rest of them moved down appropriately.
support. Motion by Commissioner Gilman, support by Commissioner Corn to approve the agenda with the amendment that item E is moved to item A and then all other items are moved down. All in favor say aye. Aye. Passes. Do any of the commissioners have any conflict of interest regarding any item on the agenda? Seeing none. If there being no public comment or no public to comment, we will move to item 6, and which is now the amended item A, wage study.
Okay,
So Michelle,
thank you. Appreciate it. Is it okay if I sit or do you want me to stand? Okay.
you can.
Okay. So thank you for moving that line item, because I have college age students that are leaving for school that going back to the UP tomorrow. So I'm eager to get home and see them before they go. So this is just an introduction to a compensation program that was done by myself and the Employers Association. The Employers Association is a nonprofit organization that specializes in creating compensation programs for both public and private and government entities. So we contracted with them. We started with back in October or November. I was hired to come in and start this process. And the way that I just want to kind of explain the process and how we got to it, and then I'll pass out the wages. But the way that it started is we took groups of employees from different departments, like the engineering department, the administration department, the field operations department, and we gathered together as a group and kind of redid the job descriptions. And in that way, we got consensus from everybody on that team and that department, and really kind of looked at each job kind of objectively and like, let's build this so it's not always the way we've done it, but how we need to do it going forward. So we started that process and got job descriptions done for every single position in the administrative area. And then we provided those to the Employers Association. And what they do is they don't look at each job by title, they look at it by job duties, and they go through each job and do a ranking system. So there's 20 different things that they rank on. It could be they're like the impact on the organization, the education that's required, the amount of like industry experience that's required. So there's 20 different things that they rate these jobs on, and they give a point system to each one of those factors. And then from that ranking system or the points that are developed, they provide that back to the organization and they say, does this look like it's ranked in order to create internal equity? So that's kind of the first part of the process. So Dan and I went through after those rankings were done and we look at how they ranked those in order. And we say, does this make sense? If somebody was like an engineer is not ranked, higher on the spectrum, then obviously something's wrong and something's wrong with the job description. So we go through that, which creates a lot of internal equity in the organization. And then after that ranking is done, they take those positions and they look to market data. So market data they used was kind of a combination of a bunch of different places, but they looked at other road commissions, including Kent, Monroe, Lapeer, Leelanau, Huron, Bay, and Ottawa. So there's a combination of different sizes of road commissions. They also looked at other engineering and construction firms, because when employees are, coming to the road commission, they have other opportunities to work in other places, including private engineering firms. And so they're looking at those. They also looked online, because that is also where people go to find out what competitive wages are in the market. So they do that. They use survey data that's not their own survey data. That is survey data that's collected from different entities. And then they also use their own internal TEA data. And they take an average of all of that data, the data points that they collect. And they come up with ranges. So each group of jobs, or each job is put into a group. And then it's given a range. And I do have those to share with you. That's those around. Shipping it up for everybody. Oh, and I might want to go different extra one.
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. So this is the result of that study. And you can see the job titles are listed in the middle. So like if you look at administrative assistant, that's a grade 10. And then the range for that is on the left. It starts at 2120 and goes up to 2591. And the grades go up to level 15 on the left, and then starting on the right, grade 16 through 20. And each one of those has a low, a midpoint, and a high, which is very typical of a wage range or a compensation program. The ranges do have overlaps, and the reason that they have overlap is because that allows for more flexibility in each range to compensate somebody based on their level of experience and performance. But really they're developed so that everybody is able to get to that midpoint, depending on what grade they're in. That midpoint is kind of where everybody should be hovering around. Some people may be higher in a midpoint because they have more experience, or they have it's a competitive market and you need to go above midpoint in order to hire somebody. That often happens, and somebody might be below. Somebody might be below midpoint because they're not proficient in the job yet. So maybe they're just new or inexperienced in the job and they're gaining experience. So this and the spreads in the jobs are a little bit lower, or sorry, the spread percentage is a little bit lower in the lower end of the grades and a little higher in the higher end of the grades. And that's purposely done because when you have like an entry level position, they have more room to grow inside of the company, and they can be promoted and learn and have be moved up to another grade. And at a higher end, like in the finance manager or the manager of the road commission, those spreads are going to be larger because they really don't have any other place to go within the organization. So they may spend, 20 years in that one grade. So that is kind of an overview of the.
Okay, so this is, and just so I can understand what this is.
Mhm.
This is your assessment of where we should be, or based on the positions that we have here.
This is 100% based on the positions that you have here.
Okay, but I mean, is this what is a recommended, or is this what you're just observing now?
The midpoint is where we should be.
Well, that, yes or no. Like, as she said, there's flexibility depending on
Mhm.
experience and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm just, I guess what I'm saying is, in the industry, this reflects industry and the comparables that we've done. That you've done.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
That's all. I'm
Yes,
just
this
trying
is
to,
the completed wage study.
based on the tasks that each of these,
Yes.
okay.
Yes,
Okay.
each one of these job descriptions is fresh. It was just done in
Okay.
December with the group of employees. So this wasn't done by just me or just Dan. It was done as a collaborative, a collaborative work experience, I guess, for each department, and each group, like the engineering group, went through each job description together and got to a consensus on each one of those jobs. And then the TEA looks at not just the title of like engineering technician, but they look at what those job duties are inside of that job description and base their ratings and their point factor analysis on those.
So a couple of questions. First, question is, do we have job descriptions for each of these job titles that you applied when doing your study?
Yeah, so we redid each one of these job descriptions in like November and December. So they are all brand new job descriptions. And the process that I did for that was I pulled like, the engineering technicians, like everybody in the engineering department into this room. And we went through each person's job and what their old job description looks like. And we said, okay, are you doing this? Are you not doing this? And we revamped each one and freshened each one to what they're doing now. And we did that for each department and each person.
Okay,
One of the reasons I wanted to start with job descriptions is we never deleted any old ones. There might be 10, 15 job descriptions for one person who are in there. So it was just a mess, like which one do you pick for that person? So we want to get rid of all those and start fresh. Everybody has one job description. You can't go back and look in the end drive and say, I don't know which one this is.
but for all these positions, we have new updated job descriptions.
Correct. You really can't build a wage study without that.
That's why I wanted to make
So
sure.
that was the very first step, was just getting those done.
And second question is, okay, so where do we fit in the scale?
So you fit in this scale. We looked at each individual person and how they fell inside of each one of these grades where they were placed,
33.
and looked and based increases on this wage scale for everybody. So we looked at like, they're in the 38th percentile of this range and they really should be more toward the midpoint, or they're new, so they're fine where they are. So we looked at each individual person based on this wage scale.
Okay, so if I was to ask you, where did the majority of our where were the majority of the employees on the percentiles?
They're all hovering around midpoint, not all, but I mean.
After the raises or before?
After, I don't know about
Okay.
before, I can't speak to before, but I would say after this wage study that everybody has been adjusted so that they're between, there could be some outliers, but I would say that most of them are between 35 to 65% around the 50th percentile.
So does that mean, and maybe this is not a question for you, and maybe it's a question for Dan or Phil, does that mean that 35 to 65% of our employees had to be bumped up to get to that midpoint?
We did have to look at quite a bit of bumps. And so we did the 2.5 to stick with COLA.
Right.
Additionally, to bring everybody within that range hovering around policy was an additional 2.4%. In the budget that we approved, we had budgeted 5% for raises this year. So we came in just under that.
Between the 2.5
was about additional 2.4
Yeah.
to bring everybody into that range.
Do any of that-
Again, some people stayed the same, some people were way behind, needed to catch up.
Commissioner?
So it wasn't just across the board.
So if we did an additional 2.4, we'd be at target.
They already
We
did.
already did that.
We already did.
It's already done.
I think it's like one.
No, that's not a board decision.
Okay, I was just wondering,
It's actually the whole lower.
because we did the quote, we did the thing.
I know, and it was unusual for us to get involved in that too, but we
Okay.
did it. But
And we,
our only employees did.
Okay,
and with the adjustments, we're still like 7,000 less than budget.
Yeah, and as long as it's budgeted and it doesn't exceed the budget
okay.
amount,
That's fine.
then we are fine. Now, if those increases had exceeded the budget and Phil had to come back to us with an amendment, then I'm sure we would have had questions about it, but it wasn't necessary.
I don't know. I think we need to adjust where things are kind of high. I just get.
Any other questions for Michelle before we
Well, in January, you said we would be addressing this in the January meeting, then we would have to vote again on an additional increase, because I didn't like the 2.5%.
No, it's done, 2.4%. That's it. That's
Okay,
the
so I
agreement.
misunderstood that we were addressing in
No,
January then.
yeah,
Okay.
we're not,
We're gonna look at.
we
wage
were
stuff.
just gonna look at the wage stuff.
See, to me, this is great information. He's gonna be, he has to hire and fire people.
Yep.
And if you can't get somebody at just under the midpoint on somewhere, maybe you have to raise the midpoint on somewhere. Or raise a wage to meet that, This is essentially a good snapshot of the reality of where we're at ultimately. And it doesn't say you have to do anything necessarily.
No, but I think that's why we have a road manager
Mhm.
that can look at, and that's why we
This is
authorize.
good. This is good stuff though.
Yep.
Right?
It's really good to create internal equity and to make sure that you're placed in a marketplace and you can be competitive.
So,
in the
so out of this
marketplace.
process, though, we were at least able to clean up the job description
Yes.
and the classifications. That to me, that's good. It
Yeah,
makes it
everybody-
simpler for everybody to understand. They know where they're at.
So tomorrow we're gonna have a staff meeting.
Okay.
And everybody's gonna get a copy of this. Everybody's gonna get their individual paperwork where they got moved to. And Michelle's gonna do a presentation again like this to staff, and then everybody's gonna get their brand new job description in that, so come up with a packet with that, so. Everybody should fully up to speed, and then we can start to create ranges for pay, so. You can't just keep adding 5% every
Right,
year.
right.
Now we can actually create ranges and people can know some goals and.
And at some point they'll reach a ceiling based upon.
Correct.
This range, so.
As a guide, there are people who are clearly, they're worth spending the extra couple dollars. And as you know, I'm one of the people who, I've never seen a wage study that doesn't say that we're overpaying our people. I've never seen it, and you'll never see it because of the way that it works. I mean, if you bring your people to the average, well then, if you were below the average and you bring your people to the average, then clearly now the average has just shifted higher in the next cycle through. You're never gonna, it's always gonna kind of elevate a little bit, at least.
Any other
Yes.
questions for Michelle? Okay,
Okay. Oh, you just want me to? Okay.
yeah, I thought you were ready to say something.
Oh, I was going to say that, there is a wider range in these grades because, a compensation program that rewards performance too is, important that employees can, if they're performing better and they have good attendance and they're building skill sets and they're affecting and impacting the organization more, then they, should be higher in their range. So that's.
I'm down with that. Meritocracy.
Well, thank you, Michelle.
Thanks so much.
Okay, thank
you.
you.
To the next item, which is now item B, the Forge Street resolution for acceptance of Forge Street into the county road system. So you have a resolution in your packet on page 2. Resolution 2025-0101. Derek, if you want to give up, so just to refresh everyone's memory, this was something that the board authorized staff to pursue back in January of 2024. And this was this is Lavender Hills subdivision. And this is a road that they were going to build to connect Oban Way to East Potter. And at that time, the staff came to the board and wanted board to authorize staff to move forward with working with the developer and the subdivision to construct this Forge Street. And there was an exception. The exception was with regard to the width. It was the 28, because Oban was 28 and this was an extension of Oban instead of the new standard we have, which is 32. So that's what this is. The road is now built. And we had previously indicated our intent that if it met all our standards with the exception of width, then we would accept it. So Derek, if there's anything new to add,
Just to add to the drainage system on that roadway was flattened.
yes. Yep. on the-
So they're still maintaining the drainage system. Up to this point, we've been turning around in a cul-de-sac.
There was a cul-de-sac there.
And so now it goes through to another one of our
Yep, goes back to Potter Road.
road system, which is good. Makes it easier for our drivers. I have absolutely no issue with accepting this into the system. I think it'll work fine for us, and I'd make the motion that we adopt the resolution of 1/1/25.
Second.
There's a motion by Commissioner Gilman, seconded by Commissioner Underwood to adopt resolution 2025-0101 to accept Fourth Street into the county road system. I just have one comment. I voted against this approval back in January of 2024. And the reason for my vote against it was because there is no policy or procedure under the road commission that allowed this board to authorize a variance from the WED. And in the absence of that, I did not feel that we had the ability to do so. So for that same reason, for that reason alone, I'm gonna vote against it, but I just wanted to put that on the record that I have nothing against accepting this street into our road system. It's just that I do not believe that we need to make rules on the fly on a case by case basis. So if there are no other comments, Kylie, roll call please.
Horn,
Yes.
Lehman,
Yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Hesley.
No. Right, motion resolution is adopted. Next item is the 3 Mile Road bid approval pending concurrence by NDOT. Derek, you wanna?
So yeah, we received bids for a 3-mile road reconstruct project from Hammond Road to South Airport Road. This did have category F funding through MDOT and the Economic Development Office. And they would be covering $375,000 of this project. We received bids January 3rd. Our low and only bidder was Elmer's Crane and Dozer with a bid of $2,332,535.64, which was 8.44% under the estimated construction cost. We are recommending the board upon MDOT concurrence approve this bid.
What's the slated start date
June 12th.
of this year? And how long will construction last?
We had it until middle of August, if I remember correctly.
So will they, have they taken into account the traffic from the Cherry Festival?
That's was the issue we had. We were trying to figure it around the school. So when the school got out, we could start there too. So that was the only thing we took into account.
Does this include the road that we talked about doing the alternate road first, town line? Does this include the money for town line?
No.
That'll be separate.
And we haven't bid town line yet.
MDOT is going to contribute $375,000 on a $2.3 million project.
That's the capped money they have for the type of grant.
And the remaining money, where is that? Is it, are we funding the remaining?
MTF, yes.
What is the streets that this goes
From
between?
Hammond to South Airport.
Okay.
And what will we be doing? Would we be adding a lane?
We're adding the center left turn lane there at Vanderlip and the other road up the east or the west.
It's on industrial
Industrial park, yes.
So we are adding a center turn lane. Anything else?
for the fire department comes out.
Okay.
Will be where-
We'll be repaving the surface, road surface. Or
That'll be the third
Yeah.
lane in the school. And it goes down to the conservancy.
Yes.
Roughly is where the 3 lanes.
It's not gonna be 3 lanes all the way.
No, that'll be where the ad lane is going. Where you get most of your turning traffic there.
When did we bid this? Just out of curiosity, did you prepare this bid or this?
Yeah.
Did you prepare this package for them to bid?
We set it out to bid in middle of summer, early December.
Okay, all right. So it's recent then.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to timeline this. We're now having a realistic engineer's estimate and, That's good. Um, the road, is it gonna be a little more durable than what we've had in the past?
Yeah, we have to, there's sections of it that have very poor soils. We have to actually crush and then dig the poor soils up, put new subgrade down with fabric.
Okay, and that's something we haven't done before.
Are there any utilities or any culverts or drains that we need to be concerned
We
about?
have
as the-
a couple of culverts cross culverts we're replacing, that we had to get equal permits for, as well as since the grades changed, we'll have to redo some driveway.
Right.
roads.
It's a
So,
nasty stretch, it just is.
so since this is partly an MDOT, requires MDOT concurrence, have you obtained those legal permits?
Yeah, we've already got the equal permits.
Any other questions before we vote? Well, I will need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
that contract.
I'll make a motion that
I don't have it
we
yet.
accept the bid of Elmer's Paint and Dozer for $2 million, sorry.
Well,
$2,333,535.64 for the reconstruction of the parcel of the project under.
I'll support that.
Motion by Commissioner Underwood, support by Commissioner Horn to approve the 3 Mile Road project, bid in the amount of $2,333,535.64 from Elmer's Crane and Dozer Inc. Any additional discussion before we vote?
We talked about when we did the Long Lake project that we made some errors. Has this gone through that you're comfortable, you've done a good peer review with this, that we're not gonna come back here with quantities that our quantities are gonna line up with the quantities you bid? Okay, I don't have any problems.
Say we're going through a swamp, there's always unknowns.
Yeah, you're gonna find.
If we just run into any sort of issue like that, I mean, the thing would be to that for board immediately, not find out, yeah. So I don't want.
Like, we'll have a choice halfway through a
Yeah,
project.
but at least we'll know, right?
Yeah.
But it is a swamp.
And it is fun.
Yeah.
We know what we're into.
We're open for best case, right? We never know what.
I think, yeah. Okay, so let's call for roll call, please.
Lehman,
Yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Kevin.
Yes. Motion passes.
We just get the Oak Island people to dig.
Yeah, drain the swamp.
The item D is the jurisdictional transfer of Kingsley Road, South Bronson Road to the village of Kingsley. And this is just a discussion. But it says staff request board to approve. There's nothing in the packet about it that I saw.
Yeah, we can
Okay.
have a discussion if we want to approve it, we can.
Can you
I
bring up
can-
the section?
Well, do you mind putting that up there? So what's going on here is when they built the high school, they wanted that to be part of the village. And they annexed it out of Paradise. So they, both sides of our road are within the village limits. The village is going for, I think it's a grant to help pave that section of road. And
Where it goes to the wood lines to the railroad track.
yeah, it's Wolf Drive is where it stops. It's on one side of the road, it's, you know, like the sports complex, the side of the school.
Got a lot of layers.
When you're going down Garfield, you actually go straight.
Oh, you go straight rather than turning on the top side? Oh, okay, okay.
Sorry, I mean, you go the other way. This up here.
It's drawn down to the right.
There you go. There's a school here. It. Got a little bit.
So you can see, past the school, there's Wolf Drive. And then
Okay.
Okay, there it is.
starting there and then go up and there should be a set of railroad tracks.
Okay.
I think it's right about where that,
Little dot is.
God is.
That's a
there.
railroad crossing.
That's the railroad crossing. So that is, I think, 0.8 miles. And it's village on both sides up to Wolf Drive. So it probably should have been turned over at that time.
So this is right now within the Paradise Township,
That's the village.
even though it's the village.
Correct.
So it's Township Road, thus it's our road, and what they're asking is to take it
Transfer
over.
to
Transfer to the village.
And I was at Paradise last night, we talked about this, and they did not have an objection. Because the railroad crossing and the maintenance, you basically get to the railroad crossing. The village has it on one side and we have it on the other side, and it's just a total mess when you're trying.
Currently, they're taking care of it too. The village plows up to the high school and we plow up to like Wolf Drive, and that's our turnaround point for both of us. It's a good.
So
spot.
it's already kind of a thing.
They're already plowing it.
Okay.
Um. So in order for them to accept it, so they can start, doing Act 51
Right.
on that, we need to turn it over to them. The one thing they did ask is if we were willing to stick any money into the road as we turn over. And MDOT has done that in the past with us. Again, they're just asking.
But MDOT was maintaining a state highway before
Yeah.
getting it. We get 12 cents to maintain that short portion of the county road.
Yeah, I think we were gonna lose $2,600 a year. Is what we're getting.
How long is that?
0.8.
Do we have, so, okay, so it's our road because, but it's in the township and the township doesn't want it. Obviously,
The township approached us wanting it.
they do want it.
The village does, or
The village.
Okay.
the village approached us wanting it, the township doesn't want it. The
Okay.
Township also is.
Township.
Okay.
They're like, okay.
The township
Yeah,
doesn't
I
want it.
can't see giving him anything like MDOT does us.
Right.
We don't do that.
Well, and it's a local road.
Yeah.
That means if we
Right.
repair it, the township has to.
Right.
Have a
Elmer's Wedge did it a couple
huge-
years ago.
And they'll get the MTF money.
Yeah.
I mean, we can certainly at some point enter into a contractual relationship with them if they want us to do some work, but I don't know about giving money towards it. I don't, I mean, they want the road, we'll give them the road.
That was a request. It actually just came in.
It
right
never
before
hurts
the-
to ask.
Oh, of course, I
Right,
understand that.
I mean,
I would too.
15 minutes, that's why I was a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
I would too.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see how.
No,
how
because they're gonna gain.
They're gonna have money
Yeah,
out of-
they're gonna get,
They're gonna gain
right,
that money.
okay, so.
And if they've been doing it, I mean,
They're actually been doing it free if they've been doing it.
Right, then that would benefit
So
them.
they're actually gonna.
Yeah,
money
To get the
paid.
funding.
Why were they doing it if it was under our?
It was a good turning point for both plow trucks.
it just worked out.
We kind of, sometimes it happens with
Now they can get money for that.
county lines, somebody has to pass to
Yeah.
try to get turnaround.
Okay.
In 2023, we spent 22,000 on Bronson Avenue wedging.
Yeah.
So we still did work on it,
Yeah,
yeah.
so we're turning it over wedged.
Okay, I mean, is there any reason why we can't just approve it today?
Not that I can go.
Does it have to be a resolution if we're disposing of property?
Do we have to notice anybody?
For this meeting. That we only need.
Well, that's a good question.
Normally we have,
Well, we're not abandoning it, but we are relinquishing jurisdiction. Yeah, we are relinquishing jurisdiction, so it has to be a resolution, that's for sure.
So we do a couple.
I don't believe we have to have a public hearing, but you know what? Don't quote me on that, obviously. Double check, give a quick, double check.
Working on the same scenario we're in Acme Township right now with Bill. And I believe he said as long as you have all the property owners. Signatures and agreement that you do not have to have a public.
The
hearing.
effect is the same, right? It's the abandonment, the effect is with
So-
abandonment and relinquishing of jurisdiction.
So we basically just direct you to, I mean, make a motion to direct the manager to pursue the transfer of this section of road.
well, it's still gonna remain a public road. Somebody's not closing the road and putting a exclusive subdivision.
Yeah, I mean, we can approve a motion authorizing the jurisdictional transfer subject to legal requirements.
But it needs to be a resolution though, doesn't it?
Can we just have this ready in a couple of weeks? We just.
Yeah,
There you go.
Get it ready for us.
I think just bring it to the, I think, that's probably the best way to do it. You don't have to, you're right. We have to have a resolution and a resolution before.
But that was a. Is the road completely surrounded by the school property?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Makes it easier.
All right, next item E is the real estate agent recommendation, and you have that on page 57 of the packet. Now this is regarding the Kingsley, or I'm sorry, 58. This is regarding the Kingsley, old Kingsley facility, and if you recall, the board authorized staff to seek proposals from real estate agents who would be willing to list this property. And so what we have before us is a proposal from Three West, which apparently they were the only one to submit a proposal, and it's for a 6-month listing term at a commission of 6% of the sales price, 3% of which will go towards representing the road commission. I guess what does that mean?
What that means, it means that we're paying 3% to the
Seller's agent and
to the seller's agent, and the other 3% is there for the selling agent. I mean, the buyer's.
Buyer's.
Yeah, but it is called the selling agent too. So it's,
is that like a typical?
yeah, that's typical.
Okay.
It's and that's pretty fair. I mean, it's
Okay.
you know, it's a lot more work, and you just have to have a realtor. Somebody who-
Yeah.
And I'm actually glad to see Three West. Are they the only ones that offer?
Who did we send? Who did we ask to submit the proposal? What was the process that you used? I guess.
We put it on a bid, not like we usually.
Okay. Okay, so it was.
Well, I'm glad because I mean, it's his specialty. I mean, it's literally what he does.
Yeah.
Is commercial
Yeah, commercial
properties.
property.
Yeah, so
We did have a couple realtors that, showed a little interest to talk to us, but once because it's a commercial building, they didn't have a commercial real estate license, I
Well,
believe.
you don't need a commercial. Yeah, I could sell. I could have done
There
it.
was something, I talked to a couple.
They just don't have the experience.
They just probably don't have the connections. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, this is fine. I'd make the motion that we accept the Three West commercials proposal at 6% of the sale price.
We'll support. Motion by Commissioner Gilman, supported by Commissioner Horn to accept Three West Commercial's proposal to list the Kingsley Building at 1471 East at 13 for a 6-month term at a commission of 6% of the sales price. Any further discussion before me?
What is the listing price?
To be determined.
We're still going through appraisal process.
I had the appraisal done, since I was waiting for this approval, now I can meet with Three West, and I can come up with what they recommend.
Okay.
Based off of, I'll show them the appraisal, what they think the local market is, and.
Okay.
They can come back with what they recommend, let's see for.
Sounds like a plan.
Better see it online. So.
All right, and
Yeah, I guess we'll find out when the ticker
The
picks it up.
ticker will post it. It's a
I love
doctor.
this because it's open and transparent. We're not selling it direct from somebody
Yeah.
wants to somebody else, and
You like schools or something.
yeah.
Maybe.
okay, let's do a roll call.
Underwood,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Corn,
Yes.
Lehman,
Yes.
Adam.
Yes. All right, the next item is review of the per diem policy. And here's why I asked this to be part of the agenda for a couple of reasons. First, the appointments for some of the boards and committees that we have are not consistent with our per diem policy. Mainly for the reason that there are a lot of, under addendum A to the policy, there are a lot of committees listed that are no longer
No
even
longer.
existing. And some others, I frankly have questions as to whether we need to have those listed as under the eligible for per diem list. That's the first reason. The second reason is the policy was last revised in 2015. And if you just start going through it, starting with the rates, it's not consistent with the county policy. It lists a maximum, it lists per diem rates by number of meetings. First meeting $35, second meeting $35, and then third meeting $20. That is not what the current county per diem policy as it applies to appointed officials states. Right now, the policy as a county policy is $65 for any meeting 4 hours and under, and $110 for any meeting exceeding 4 hours. There is also under this policy, there's a limit of attending 3 meetings in a 24-hour period. The county policy does not have that limit. And lastly, as I said, I have a question about the policy here states that the meetings that the eligible meetings are those that should have a direct relationship to road commission activities. And I want to have a discussion whether some of the committees on here under addendum A do meet that criteria, and this is not to pick on any one of the commissioners that serves on that committee, so please do not take it in that spirit. But for example, I would really like to have a discussion how the County Parks and Recreation Committee has a direct relationship to road commission.
I can answer that. The state statute requires that if a county chooses to have a Parks and Recreation Commission, the drain commissioner, a county planning representative, and a county road commission representative and a county board of commissioner representative are required by law.
To be members of that
Yeah.
board. Okay, and that's great. I did not know that. So thank you for that. That brings me to my other question. If a road commissioner is required to serve on that Parks and Rec Commission, do they receive compensation from the Parks and Rec Commission for their appointment?
So they, the way that it was written in our board rules under county parks were if you were in an ex officio membership, meaning you were our county board of commissioners or you were our road commission, you filled it out for whatever you were on that statutorily created.
So the county commission member would be getting.
The county commission member filled it out to, when I was on the county commission, I was a citizen member, so I had to actually fill out my county parks and rec to county parks and rec. Chris Maxbauer was our BOC member, so
Yeah.
Chris would fill it out.
At the county?
Yeah, and it was the same for the county road commission. They were to turn it into the county road commission.
Okay.
And the drain commissioner, I don't know. And we used to have a PC in the county, and of course, we don't now
Sure.
by the Parks and Rec.
So we can assume we pick up
We
the.
We pick up that.
In any ex officio
Yeah,
board in
ex
the
officio
county,
board.
that's the way that we
That
were.
makes
told it
sense.
was to be.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Because I'm the Parks and Rec guy. When you are assigned to different additional committees within the Parks and Rec,
Yes.
what happens there?
So that's a good question. Bill Mauser was our first one with that. It was the NER board. When I was the county parks president, we decided that the county road commission representative should be the NER board committee representative too, because that's required. Because, mostly because of the bridge project that was going through the NER, it made sense to have the same person. And to the best of my knowledge, it was the first time it came up and we found out that Bill was to be asking the road commission for compensation to that. Because the reason he was on the county parks and rec board was as a road commissioner.
And if that had a specific relationship to road
It did,
activities.
yeah.
So
It makes sense.
So if the road commissioner is appointed to a subcommittee of the parks, the road commission reimburses that road commissioner for attending meetings of the subcommittee as well.
That is my understanding.
But it has to be related to road commission activities, that subcommittee, right?
When I was president, I appointed people based on those relationships. I don't know what they do now, but I specifically thought the road commission rep should be the NER. So here's an example for you. There's a committee called the Business Development Team, and Pete Elbers was our planning commission rep.
So called
And-
strategic now.
Yeah, and he applied for compensation for that committee as a per diem as a planning commissioner. Of course, there's no planning commission anymore. But that's the way that we used to do it. I don't know if they've changed the board rules. I haven't served on that board in many times, but traditionally the president made a strategic decision as to who they were appointing to them.
Joe, do you then not submit any per diem to the road, to the Parks and Rec?
I do Parks and Rec, but I submitted, the way I was informed is I submitted through here.
No, I know, that's
do
what I'm
Parks and
saying.
Rec. So I'm on Parks and Rec, and then I'm on the subcommittee that's now called Strategic Planning.
Okay.
Which includes roads and access to roads and.
So you don't get paid through the Parks and Rec Committee?
Not at all.
None of our.
And I'm also on the Boardman Valley Advisory Committee
And then,
as part of Parks and Rec,
okay,
of which they use me for infrastructure questions.
okay, that's why I wanted to have this, because I had all these questions. What about, does Beta operate the same way?
Beta operates differently. They have a per diem that you can apply for. I do not take a per diem from Beta because there's always a question of two transportation fund agencies. So I do Beta free.
Do you receive per diem from road commission to?
Nope,
attend
I don't,
Beta?
nope, I do not.
The county
I do not.
commissioner on Beta does get their per diem from Grand Traverse County. I do know that.
Yeah, they do get that. And any citizen gets a per diem.
But he's not assigned by the road commission to Beta.
No, it's assigned by the county board.
Right.
Yeah,
So you should get a per diem from.
From Grand
There
Traverse
was-
County.
there was-
Or at
Beta.
least, yeah.
Or, I mean,
From
Beta.
Beta, but there's concern that you have two government agencies that get money now through what is it called? MPO. So I have opted never to take money from Beta, nor do I take any of their swag. I take nothing from Beta. I just sit on their board
okay.
to make sure that it's very clear that there is no conflict of interest in spending. It's crazy because you got the Michigan Transportation Fund and the other one's a whole different fund, but never the two shall meet, but we try to keep it as clear and as we can.
Okay, all right, and that's why, because this is something that was brought to my attention in December, so, and it's so severely outdated. And it's like, that's why I moved to G, the appointments, because I really want our appointments to, because they don't mirror what a lot of these
I made a couple changes on it.
So the other question I have is, right now, under our policy, airport authority is not listed. I have a question. Are you appointed on the airport authority by the county?
The road commission.
Road commission.
So the road commission designated you as a liaison. Okay, what's the direct relation between the airport authority and the road?
I was gonna say, Dan could probably explain that better. I go and I make a report about any roads that are in the vicinity of the airport, any projects. I get their questions, I give it to Dan. Every single month, the board chair tells me they're really glad that they have an open line of communication with the road commission. And Bob, the engineer, is very happy. I don't know, Derek might know, but they constantly work together on stuff. And then Town Line, I've reported. That's been the gist of it is I go to that. If you want, I cannot apply for a per diem and just go anyways. I'm happy to do that.
No, that's why I want to make
Yeah.
sure that,
But every month I'm
because we have
told,
to,
every month I'm told, we're so glad you're here. We never had any communication.
But that was part of my vision as chairman, is to make sure that we had a footprint in transportation across the board. And so originally I was gonna find somebody for Beta, but that's stupid. I sit on there for myself. I do it myself.
If I could make a recommendation, frankly, I'd say, as simple as this, meetings with the direct relationship to the road commission activities as assigned by the chair and approved by the board.
I don't like this addendum A, to be honest, because.
That's it. I'd say,
I was gonna say, I cut
Yeah.
out a bunch.
Yeah.
and
I don't think
renamed
it's,
them.
I don't think it's unreasonable.
But if you adopt it with the addendum, then it needs to be corrected. So we just have to change the wording to take out the addendum part, or else we have to correct it.
Yeah, we have to, I think we have to make several changes to this resolution. I think it's a policy, it's a resolution.
Because we did a separate, on the per meeting, when we raised our salary, when we raised everybody's salary, we did the whole organization. We tied our per diems to the county per diem.
Yeah.
the board,
Right.
Yeah,
and that doesn't reflect on what. you
no,
gave us.
that's the thing. That's what I'm saying.
It's not like to match or mirror the
Yeah,
county.
that's right.
It's very it's the rates are different. It's limiting it to 3 meetings. It's talking about a limit of 3,500. It actually says that in order to attend a meeting, a conference, you have to have the approval of the majority of the board, which we have never done that, and I think it's silly. I mean, if we want to attend the road commissioner conference in Lansing or whatever, the board couldn't be.
Again, I think that, the way it was done, even prior to the $65 that the county went with. If the chair had a problem with somebody's, per diems, you talk to the person and it was always
Yeah.
rectified that way.
Mhm.
And then the person who was getting challenged would be, okay, that's the way it is. Frankly, I don't think it doesn't take much more, common sense to figure out. This is other meetings of the direct relationships to the road commission activity. That's it. That's your addendum.
As appointed.
Yeah, well, as appointed or as substituted for the appointment. I mean, the point is, if I come in and I say, okay, well, I did the East Bay Township's meeting, and you say, well, you're not assigned to East Bay. Joe wasn't able to make it.
Right.
And you're gonna say, okay, that would make sense. So, I think this is one of those things where what might have to be worked on in terms of the policy, and frankly, I think let the policy committee make a new policy.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay. And as far as the 65, now it's 65, change those numbers.
Sam, what do you want to do? I had a situation where actually Acme Township asked me to come. You weren't gonna go,
Right.
so I think, did I go with you, Dan?
Yeah.
So Dan and I went to Acme Township to represent.
Yeah.
The road commission, on an issue that was
Yeah.
very hot, so.
Yeah, that was the
Abandonment.
yeah.
So,
I don't have any issue with attending meetings and where we need to attend meetings. My concern really is that we have this resolution on our books technically. That's in conflict with, so either we.
Well, but we did move to follow the county policy as it was.
But I don't have that resolution.
Yeah, I know, I'm not.
That's my problem.
It's a matter, it's in our minutes somewhere.
So either we move to rescind this resolution, or because right now we have a resolution on our books that.
Okay, let's do this. I would move that we rescind the resolution, the policy, excuse me.
No, it is resolution.
The resolution 120701, until modified and corrected with the policy committee.
And then also to be just, and the per diem policy
And the
would
per diem policy-
consistent with the county.
Be consistent with the county as we have done for the last several months.
I'll second that.
All right, so there is a motion to rescind resolution 12-0701 to be substituted with a revised per diem policy at a future date. And that per diems until that time would be consistent with the county policy of the Grand Traverse County. Is that fair?
That's fair.
And that's a resolution by Commissioner Gilman, supported by Commissioner Kudrow. Any further discussion, any comments from you, Phil, because I know you deal with our per diems and.
It would just meet budget if there's, and it's like, before I used to do that year 2000, I remember the county raised it, I put like 3,000 in. Overall, I think we're in compliance. That would be my only concern.
Yes, I can't imagine we get too far out of it. I mean,
Another way to do electronic.
2 meetings a month, maybe.
Yeah, I
Another way to do electronic.
think I asked Phil for a breakdown of all our per diems for 2024. And for the most part, it's around $2,000 with just one exception.
So if we decide, we don't have this policy, so Monday I'm gonna go to this. Peninsula Township thing.
Yeah.
No, that's that.
Does that, in your mind, does that qualify?
Absolutely.
You are assigned to that.
Absolutely. It's a Peninsula Township meeting. And you're, I think you.
Yeah, that's what, I'm just clarifying for my own thing. I mean, that's not a regularly scheduled, that's a special thing. We've had some meetings on Bluff Road here.
Yeah, we have had a lot of meetings. We have had constituent meetings, we have vendor meetings. Those are all qualified as long as they have to deal with road commission activities. So yes, I would say that
Somebody could potentially take a pot shot at us, look at all the money those guys.
No, just one of us.
Yeah, well,
Hydras running up the tab.
yeah.
That's true.
He charges us as legal.
Yeah, right.
In any way, ask him some like kind of.
Totally.
question.
No, I mean, for the most part, yeah, no,
I mean, how would like our board compare with like the Parks and Recs or the Beta Board or
I don't know.
what are other boards that they're under the jurisdiction of the county?
Well, let me just put it this way. There's a reason why we have people of varying expertise. And frankly, I want that guy who might have a few more times at a meeting. I want that guy to represent us on certain issues. I want this guy to represent us on certain issues and in certain areas. I'm telling you, it's what we do is still cheap. Nobody can take a pot shot at us. Even at the increased rates, nobody's getting rich here. That's not the point. And we're just getting a little coverage for our time that we take out of our daily lives, which frankly, sometimes it can be expensive itself.
Mhm.
So
the per diems, we are entitled to receive those per diems because we are doing the work of the road commission when we are attending the meetings. And if anyone wants to investigate them, they're welcome to, because I think all of our meetings.
follow me around. I'll tell you, there are county
Yeah.
commissioners that get per diems and
Right.
do what they say they're doing. So
And no one is.
Not anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I mean, there's not, I think, yeah, if someone is gonna take a pot shot, they're gonna take a pot shot, but that's, I think that's part of the course. Okay, if there's no other, discussion, then all in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. All right, so then it's the next item is item G, which is the appointments. What you have before you are appointments for 2024. And you have them all in front of you. The only change I want to make is for the TTCI board and alternate. I would like Dan to be the main and I would be the alternate. Because Dan has been attending those meetings anyway, and he should be attending those meetings because the items and issues that are getting discussed have to do with the day-to-day operations of the road commission, which he is more informed with. I do, and I'm gonna ask our engineer and the finance manager. Do you attend Networks Northwest board meetings?
I have not, but I know there's this job.
Right.
Is that the
Do they
the
still?
governance board there?
I have no idea. But that's why, yeah, I don't know why I know we pay them money. About 20 grand or something a year, or how much do we pay?
Yeah, aren't there data collection for the state for us?
I think that we are paying them about 20 grand a year from what I was told previously
It was, we just paid $3,434.38.
for the year.
Yes.
Okay.
2020.
All right, that's a lot.
we're not gonna fight that battle.
Finance manager, have you ever attended the Networks Northwest board meeting?
I have not.
Okay, so I am going to delete that.
It looks like they meet very frequently. I did not know this board still met.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I
either.
did not know that. And I thought they changed their
members?
membership.
Well, we're clearly,
TCI is what?
Yeah,
PTCI is what it became. I don't know why Networks Northwest is.
Well, they do more than just.
They administer it,
I mean,
right.
they do
They're-
A lot of stuff.
So who does our data collection? How it's supposed to go to the state?
Well, the-
Network
Network
Northwest?
Northwest does our like Pazer readings and things like that with us.
Okay.
Oh, I see. They have committees, board meetings, advisory council, and a county commissioner roundtable every other month, it looks like. Not sure what that means.
So I am deleting Northwest Northwest Board. The remainder,
About the technical committee, aren't you the?
I'm the voting member.
So that would be the county highway engineering
Yep.
manager, and who's the assistant?
Angelica's.
The project engineer.
So that's on that's on TTC.
that's the tech committee and alternate. So you are the main, okay, because it has for some reason,
Well, it's
just the way it's listed, it's, yeah. So, and the assistant engineer is your alternate, correct?
Yes.
So
Project control.
we just eliminated the Networks Northwest and we're involved with them on the TTCI stuff.
Yep. That's where we're,
All right.
everything else, investment counselor, those are all things that we need, correct, by statute?
I'm not sure where that one came from. It's been on ever since I've been here. We kept it on.
Yeah, what, does anyone know what that
I've never
means?
seen it anywhere else.
Investment counselor.
We'll see the.
We don't see it.
Kind of part of your
Under-
job.
Is that like our
Anyway.
four fifty-seven B or something kind of thing, or whatever?
I have no idea. That's my concern is I'm appointing, as chair, I'm appointing people to boards and committees that, people who are supposed to be on it don't know why they're on it.
As far as the investment counselors, I mean, that's his job
I'm a
description. He's our,
He's designated.
Yeah, I don't
Yes,
need, I don't have to appoint you to it.
Representative.
Yeah, I don't need to appoint you.
he's our fiduciary.
Yeah,
And that's,
yeah. I'm just gonna remove that. That's part of your job. Unless someone can tell me that I have to have a investment counsel.
No, this is the first organization I've found that.
Okay, well, not anymore.
Do you go to the Chamber Legislative Committee?
Mhm.
Peter? So how often does that meet?
Every, like there's one tomorrow morning.
Well, like every quarter?
No,
or
every month.
Every month.
Wow.
And what is that?
It's the Governmental Relations Committee.
Okay, so
That's what it's
No,
called.
I-
Traverse Connect now.
somebody from the Traverse Connect Board is on it. and then
Would we
like-
rename it Traverse Connect?
Yeah, it's the Traverse Connect. Actually, it should be the Traverse Connect Governmental Relations Committee, not
Okay.
the Legislative Committee.
We just received their news invoice. We were wondering. who-
And I don't receive, get per diem for that. I don't fill out per diem for that because I have been a member of it before I even got on.
Is it really big? Is it like a lot of people from the community?
There is a lot of people, business people and
Okay.
Beta has the PCAPs have it, not everyone sends it.
Right, but.
But it
Okay.
has a big membership. So that should be TC Connect Governmental Relations Committee should be. Okay, so what I have done is I have removed investment counselor, I have removed Networks Northwest Board. And I have renamed the TC Chamber Legislative Committee to the Traverse Connect Governmental Relations Committee. And other than that, I'm keeping all other appointments as is. So I would entertain a motion to ratify the appointments as presented for 2025.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Thorn, second by Commissioner Underwood to ratify the chair's appointments as presented in the meeting for 2025. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Now that we've approved it, can we go back to the Board of Commissioners meeting? That maybe we could do something a little more formally about that, or just take volunteer, maybe Kylie could help us like wrangle up somebody to make. I don't even know when Dan makes his presentations to the board.
I am of the opinion that any of the commissioners who wants to attend those meetings where Dan is attended is free to attend. I don't want to
Can we get an
designate.
email then to let us know that he's gonna, I mean, I don't
Sure.
go to those meetings,
Sure.
but
I
I
think-
would
I
if
think-
Dan was there.
I think that could be, that's reasonable.
Okay.
If an email can be sent to all the commissioners for County Board of Commissioner meetings when Dan is on the agenda.
Do you want it on your calendar, like with the required for the townships? Does that work?
Like when you do,
Yeah.
sure.
I
mean,
like that. You know, I like. that.
Yeah,
It
sure.
helps me with
Just the
that.
way you do, and just just so you know, Kylie, I get the calendar for Long Lake, but I never got a calendar for Green Lake.
For this year yet?
For this year or even for the last year,
Okay, so,
because I am Green Lake.
I don't think I did you guys yet, just because I wanted to confirm. No
I know,
changes for
but even
rename.
for 2024, I didn't get Green Lake.
For green, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
So those are gonna appear in our calendars, is that what you're telling me?
I love it.
yeah, she sent an invite just like that to say that, and then you accept them and they
How
automatically.
often
for
do
the
you
year.
go there, Dan?
We'll have to see what the new.
Right, but
board wants
I
to
mean,
do, but
in the last
In
year,
the past, they always had me the first meeting of the month.
so every month. And then also, if there's an agenda item on the Board of Commissioners that's about the road commission and Dan's going to it, maybe if we could know about that.
I mean, the agenda for the county is posted on the.
I'm
website,
not.
But
It's something that Dan thinks people could be there. That's what I mean. Rather than something that wouldn't even have anybody from the road commission there. I don't know.
I think, again, if there is a topic on the agenda, if Dan, you want, the meeting invite is gonna send, if you specifically would like a commissioner to be in attendance, then send an email for that meeting. I don't think we need to impose, have Kylie place agendas for the road, for the county commission meetings, since they are posted and anyone is free to look.
That's not what I meant at all. I'm
Yeah.
gonna rephrase it. If Dan is attending a meeting other than the regularly scheduled one that Kylie has sent us a calendar item for, if we could get a note, hey, guess what? There's a county board meeting and it's talking about whatever, M37, if anybody wants to attend. Because I don't regularly read the county board agendas, and I also might see something about a road and not even know if it's something that Dan plans to attend or would even matter if a county commissioner or a road commissioner was there. But I think it was appropriate to have a face there,
No one is disagreeing with that.
but I'm not gonna go for funsies because their meetings are 5-6 hours and I'll miss my whole workday.
Yeah,
If there's a topic that is of importance and you believe should require a commissioner or more to
Yeah.
attend, then
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you can always send an email saying, this is what, it's a hot button, and you have done that before.
Yeah.
This is, so it's not like we are asking you to do something. You have sent us email saying, this is what's it's a hot button item.
The last thing we need is you sitting there taking heat,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
for our,
you know.
Thank you for
Right.
understanding what I've
Yeah.
been trying to say. I think
Yeah.
I wasn't clear with our chair,
Yeah.
but.
No, I mean, no.
I shouldn't face the fire. People.
No, we can stand up there and
Right.
take it and frankly, tell them to pound sand if they need to
Yeah,
be told. to
And
pound
because
sand.
of our schedules, I can't read the county board agenda and go through all those items. But I am very geographically close
Yeah.
and will be absolutely happy to walk down if
Awesome.
it's in my,
Yeah, that's
Jelly's
power.
speaking, I am too, and so
Yeah.
we've been very good.
So that's what I was trying to say. I'm not
There's a
trying to
hot
make
thing
more, work for anybody. I'm trying to tell you you're supported and I don't like you to be caught off guard. But I will tell you that maybe that my other commissioners are more, are better at it, but I don't read the county board agendas or pay attention to the items on. I just don't.
Well, and a lot of times. Stuff just comes out of nowhere. right?
Well, that's the fact.
You didn't know where did that come from?
Yeah, he could be there for a very that's happened many times.
Boom, we're off
It
on
could be a
tangent.
very innocuous update, and all of a sudden,
Well, I think the update is
certain
one of us should
commissioner-
be there. But
But
I'm
that's
talking about a
usually
hot
what-
button item.
but usually that's what most of his presentations are, updates, and they'll just bring a road that's not even.
Well, then let's make
Yeah.
sure he's supported.
So then we just have to just make sure that one of the members is there at every meeting, regardless of whether it's a hot button item or not. Because,
I can do that.
but, because to Jason's point, yeah, I mean, they can ask any question that is not really related to anything that's officially on the agenda.
And they do regularly receive our minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that, but
Yeah,
On a
so,
monthly basis.
there's a different
Yeah, those
arbiter
are-
of the Robert's rules at the board
Yeah.
here, and I am concerned that Dan will get a lot of questioning, and I just think he should be supported.
All right.
all right. Well, there is no public comment, so managers comments.
Not too much for tonight, just excited we got through that wage study. It was a lot of work. By the time we got everybody a job description, excited everybody has a job description now. I think that's huge. And we're moving forward, starting to plan heavily here for, spring, summer operations. Sitting down and, getting a plan together. So hopefully more to come in February. Planning on trying to have most of our bids in at the February meeting, like some of the all the road project, any equipment, anything, and we'll knock that all out one week. So trying to shoot for the February meeting on that. Well,
Okay, thank you. Commissioners' comments.
I just want to reiterate, I think the Kingsley facility is pretty awesome.
You did a great job.
It really turned out, so. So,
Commissioner Underwood?
Two things. Right. Three things. Garfield Township, I forgot that. Today I stopped in at the MTA luncheon, no per diem. Just gave a quick update at the end. The sheriff was the main speaker, so, didn't have too many questions. I explained how we do intersections. You have to do the studies. Then after the studies, you have to decide what the correct response is, and then you have to apply for that money, and then you have to apply for all that. So I was trying to be very forward, especially on the Gray Road, Cedar Run Road area. I said, and you could have to buy property. I mean, it's not something you can do overnight unless somebody's got a big checkbook. That was the biggest thing I told the MTA folks today. Monday, at the request of the county, myself and Dan and the administrator and Parks and Rec had a meeting over the new Beitner Bridge. There is great hope that we can figure out how to safely change the corridor so that people are not coming on and off of Beitner Road.
so they're coming on to River Road.
So they're actually coming onto River Road and also using the roundabout. It also involves us making some deals with the city. So I mean, it's super duper preliminary, but I know that some of the Parks and Rec people have talked about it. So I don't want to do anything like it.
Yeah.
And we kind of have a plan. We've already got some stumbling blocks. Even after the meeting, I learned there's a trail that goes up Beitner Road onto Hoosier Valley, goes run by Hart. So Dan and I have talked a little bit about how could we move that trail, get across the road in a safe spot. And you can all figure out where we're thinking, wrap up. But we're very preliminary trying to do this because this is a chance of a lifetime to actually clean up a situation that's there. The road commission owns property on both sides of that road. So we'd have to have city permission to get back to the property on their side. So hopefully we can do this. It's a lot of plain motion parts, but hopefully we can clean that up and again, it's a chance of a lifetime. You're gonna have the road shut down. It's an opportunity to change it, make it safe for everybody. Or safer for everybody. And it also allows us to close off a driveway further up. Garfield Township contacted me today over, I guess there's an SAD and the South Airport.
Racket Club, Logan Valley.
And there's a discrepancy between their engineering and our engineering's cost. And they would like us to think about things like, can we third party it out? We could agree on a third party for an engineering cost because it is a significant difference between what we think it costs and what their engineer thinks it costs. So we're trying to figure out a way that we could arbitrate so that we have correct numbers for SADs. Does that make sense? None of this that came in too low. Now we got to figure out how to make that difference up because it's a halfway through the project. So we're trying to figure out a way, or they would like us to work with them or anybody to see if we can figure out a way that we can come up with, because the SADs are very emotional. Those are obviously property driven. And they're using the higher number, which is not our number. So there's concern that there's something amiss, and I don't know how to solve the problem. I'm just bringing it up because Garfield brought it to me and I said, I'd bring it up and we'll figure out something.
First of all, I don't see how engineering outside of
Yeah,
paying an additional
I
set of bodies to do stuff that we're doing already is gonna help. The cost is gonna be the cost.
Yeah.
It just,
yeah, but they have to have that hard number to go back to the citizens.
Because
for
of the
their-
rolls, it's because of the tax rolls.
Well,
They have to
tax
send the
rolls.
tax rolls by a certain.
And so,
so if they go to if they use their high number, they go to their people and they say, hey, it's gonna cost this. Hey, that doesn't hurt us.
Then the individuals are gonna say, well, the county said it'd be less. So how do we,
Whose number is high?
their engineers numbers higher than ours,
They can say, no,
Cory Fraser says that this could be
whatever,
whatever.
and then we say it's gonna be whatever. I
the
didn't
county says less, okay, what, it just,
always use the high, I mean, you.
Always use the higher
number and call it good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah,
So. But they're concerned, and because, you know, we've had some issues in the past where previous
Well-
engineers didn't quite get numbers correct. And so.
Who calculated the engineer's number? You or the previous? Engineer?
This one was me. Okay, they had, their engineer had some stuff in it that was pretty much a full reconstruction of the road. Didn't have. You know, it was basically what we're doing at 3 Mile to that.
then that brings another problem, because then if they do use that, then they have an expectation of a particular type of build.
Well, and it's a swamp in there.
It is a swamp,
Opening that up is gonna be very interesting.
so,
White Songs did that when they dug out the.
Why do we have
river bank.
anything to do with that?
well,
Is that, or do we actually have,
Racket Club Drive is a public
Racket
road.
Club in Logan Valley are ours.
Maybe we should give those.
They're under.
yeah, no,
It's, those are in private, totally encompassed
Yeah,
by private.
they're
stuff.
completely,
yeah,
it's like a mall. I mean, you know, when we do the mall, I mean,
Yeah, or
Garfield's concerned because Garfield's a very generous township. They do 25% of his SADs.
maybe that'd be one where we could pay somebody to take it. I mean, seriously,
Well, something to
why
think
do we
about.
own that? That just
Just putting it out there, something to think about. We have to
We have to certify it.
could figure out how to certify a number that everybody can agree upon. I think is the best way to do this. And I don't know how to do it.
I probably need to know more about this, and Derek might be able
Okay.
to. I don't know if you legally have to. Do you have to get all the residents' signatures and all, because it seems like if you just gave a bid price and say, do you guys wanna do
I
it?
think it's 51%.
51% is crazy. You know,
Right,
I think it's 51%.
but if they had a number up front before going, well, it came in high, it came in low, nobody knows, it's like, and you don't know, it's a guessing game, we don't know what ours is.
Right.
Fuel.
they
rate,
should have a
stock,
second chance to
labor
vote
rates,
on it or something, you know. it's
Yeah.
like-
I know very little about this, but there's more to the story that
Yeah.
I think there's more to the story. That's all.
So I apologize. I just wanted to.
Like we're missing some facts,
There's
not
something-
that somebody's doing something
There's
bad.
something
I
going
mean,
on.
I'll talk to Chris.
Yeah.
Something going on, so we just don't want to get.
They're
crosshairs
doing more of
like
an
we did a couple
overlay,
times in the
right?
past.
No, it was a crush and shape, but they had complete, you know, sub base replacement and everything. Yeah.
Which going there, sub base to that swamp.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
Probably they should guess the high number. Yeah.
Yeah,
It could be more than
It
the high
seems slow
number.
traffic though is actually required to do a full project like that.
We can't solve it tonight, but my concern in talking to Garfield was that in the past, we've had issues, previous engineers. And we don't want those issues again. We've got to figure out how to say this is the cost, this is why it's the cost, and
Well, what we just did talk about, even the scope of the work might change on 3 Mile.
Yeah.
We do have a good,
we have great.
we have a great estimate. We have a bid. We've carefully calculated the quantities and it can still come in for more
Yes.
later. So there's no guarantees.
To me, it's also a matter of communication, how,
Yeah.
I think that's an important factor, it's because I understand that the property owners may not understand the technicalities of how scopes of projects can change based upon. A lot of people will just go with the number, and if it exceeds that number, then they are going to be upset about it. So just as important as having the right number is also communicating to the property owners that these are not numbers set in stone, that they can change. And I agree with you. I think to be on the safe side, go with the higher number.
Well,
So,
this is first I heard the other engineer was crush and shake. So of course it's gonna be higher.
Well, we were crush and shape too. They were doing the full.
They're doing all.
But they were doing
the-
base,
they're
they're doing base, so
Yeah.
we're doing dig down, they're gonna muck it out and put it back in there.
Yeah.
so in the end,
It's actually a waste of money. Okay.
Is that like a
That's
four?
Kind of why I didn't use it.
so wouldn't
Yeah,
that be in
they
the end up to the
They do it for
residents
hours,
to decide
What's that?
what kind
They
of
do it
project
for
they
We
want?
don't usually let them
I
decide
don't know
how to
which
do
they
our
use.
road.
That's what I'm saying, so why would
They
we-
use those.
but-
There's
Oh,
There's
no,
something
let's
that
say
you
it's
guys
not-
aren't getting is what I'm
Okay.
telling you, so if the staff can
Yeah.
talk to it. It has to do with the treasurer and the tax bill.
Yeah, I
And
don't know
the
what-
and the roll.
Okay.
It has to do with
'Cause
legality.
it's not making sense to me. as
Yeah,
to-
let's get ahead of it. That's my thing. Let's get ahead of it so that we don't.
But it is something like, why really do we have that road?
That is correct.
That's really something that should,
It's
we,
basically a
we,
parking lot.
we should
like-
give that up to them.
Yeah,
Then they can do
Yeah.
whatever they
it's
want.
like the Grand Traverse Crossings, I guess, has
Yeah.
roads in it, but it's really a parking.
Locust
lot.
Landing has a road in it that goes in there.
Yeah, I
Should we
mean,
take that? Is it
Technically,
ours?
only Shabunic goes back there. You wanna talk about wetland? Holy smokes.
Well, it's in the Y back there.
That-
Oh,
that-
Y?
This is the.
Yeah.
the parking lot's underwater.
And last I know, it's
why?
sinking, so.
No.
like,
Mr. Weinstock did what he
Yeah.
wanted to do. That was it.
All right, thank you, sir.
But no, that's interesting. I didn't know any of that. I always assumed it was a private drive.
I thought so too.
We
I don't
are-
know that-
we are
I don't think
allowed
we,
It
I
leads, it leads to the NER, at least.
We
the
plow.
Logan part.
I think we do. Yeah.
That's the NER public access
what's
there,
the NER again?
Nature Education
Yeah,
Reserve. And it is accessed by the public through an easement with the South Y that's there.
Sounds to me like we just pulverize it.
Oh, goodness gracious, another brown.
So, Commissioner Corns, any comments?
At my last airport meeting, Dan wanted to get in touch with you guys. I think he had Larry's number. I didn't want to bother. Or Derek about surplus equipment. They are looking at doing some, runway stuff. And I didn't know if we ever posted, like, he wanted to know, do we have it on our website or things that we might be willing to sell that we aren't using anymore? And I didn't know the answer to that or if that was a normal practice or anything. So I said that they had to, but I told him that I would follow up by pointing that out because they were interested in looking for like a sander or something for the runway. I don't know what it was, but they wanted to know if our road commission surplus old equipment or had a list of it publicly that people could access.
So we listed all of our surplus on Gov Deals.
Okay, and I don't know, does the airport use, I don't even know. Okay.
Sure, but we could, if they want to be on a list, we could send an email.
And he might just
Well,
want to talk to you about one particular piece, but it was just a question I hadn't heard before and I wanted to learn so we could let people know. So Gov Deals, okay.
Do we have time to circle back to our bidding thing for a second? You guys.
If you have
I'm
no
done. That was it.
further
Airport.
comments.
We buy a lot of stuff on My Deal. Do the commissioners understand, do you understand My Deal?
Mhm.
That it's the
Yeah.
state owns My Deal,
Mm-hmm.
and when we buy something, the state gets a commission on it.
Yeah.
From the people who sell it to them.
Yep.
And there might be other people who would offer a better price
Yeah.
than My Deal that we,
Yeah.
so that we don't have to use My Deal.
And I think we talked about it, that we should consider moving away from that, or at least start putting it on,
Alternatives.
on exploring other,
It's a lot more
private,
work
yeah.
probably to go to other sources.
other dealerships that we have talked about it, that it's be more competitive for us if we actually explored
You know,
other, dealers.
And that actually, I mean, look, I mean, the person, certainly, I mean, an assigned person could certainly approach a few dealerships and say, hey, this is our expected purchase, we get something from our finance guy says, we're looking at, we are now budgeted for this, and this for the next 3 or 4 years. This is what we expect. Talk to us, what kind of price over or under invoice can you provide this equipment to us?
Didn't we not too long ago, purchase some trucks or vehicles through outside of My Deal? I thought you told us
Like
that.
any of our big plow trucks are not on My Deal. We always put those out to bid.
Okay.
And
Yeah, right.
What about some of those pickup trucks and things like
pickup
that?
trucks have usually used My Deal. It seems to be the best price because it's lower than even what the dealerships can get. them
And
a
from
lot
what I've
for.
seen, they are still lower than what.
Okay,
So
so
you have to
is
have.
there any other specific?
Well, there's another company called Sourcewell, but there may be others too that do the same
Okay,
thing.
okay.
They get a percentage back.
They do, but I've been told it's smaller. You don't think it's
I
any
don't.
smaller?
We have used Sourcewell in the past as well.
Okay.
Depending on, we'll look at it both ways. A lot of times with Michigan Cat would purchase some Sourcewell stuff. They look at it My Deal. I said, they'll actually say, hey, Sourcewell's cheaper.
You mean they'll, like Cat would be listed at Sourcewell and at My Deal?
Yeah, they're on both. When we dealt with them before, they told us like, hey, we can do this cheaper on Sourcewell.
Do we have anything to add?
I don't have anything. Any future agenda items that you want to bring to the board's attention that you think we should be prepared to discuss?
I think of any of this.
Okay. If there be nothing further, I'll entertain a motion.
So.
There's a motion and a second. We are adjourned.